What's up, guys? Want to come out with another RP video. Now, what would I do differently if I could turn back the clock? Now, let me preface it with this. Dating is for people in their teens. It was really never meant for people in their late 20s, their 30s or 40s or 50s. Now, certain circumstances brings people to the situation that we are today at various different ages, and you might be back out on the market. But if you're a teenager right now and you've got a good looking chick that is cool and she's on your program and she's really into you, don't take that for granted. You want to lock that down. Most people are not in that situation because it's gone past that point, and just because of maybe your game wasn't elevated enough, various different reasons, and that didn't work out. So you may be in college, you may be beyond college, you may be in your 30s, you could be in your 40s. What would I have done differently with the ever-changing game? The game continues to change, guys, and one of the biggest ways obviously is the online game has risen and it has already hit its peak and it is falling. I'm going to tell you why. The online thing is going to always be something. Right now, Instagram and Snapchat, in my opinion, are great ways to sort of funnel, cast a large net and funnel. You have to be working a lot of game and you have to make a lot of exposures, an extreme amount of exposures. It's insane. And why is that? Because women feel like they have unlimited options and unlimited time. Now, they're mistaken by this and they don't realize this until it's too late, but you're going to have to force through that if you're going for these upper tier chicks that are 18 to 25, essentially. Give or take, even if we give them a couple years, or there's a situation where someone does get out of a relationship and maybe a woman isn't as damaged and she's 30, but she was previously in a relationship that didn't play out. There could be some odd situations like that. But for all practical purposes, you're going to have this primary band. The hottest chicks are pretty much in college, statistically, because of their age. And they've done studies worldwide, and pretty much a woman around the age of 22 or 23 is the most coveted. And if an older woman tries to tell you otherwise, then ask her, well, do you wear makeup? And if she says yeah, and then it's like, well, why are you trying to keep a more youthful appearance? Because if you're denying the fact that a 23-year-old woman is sought after for her look at that given time, then why are you wearing makeup when you're 30, 35, 40? They're trying to keep a more youthful appearance. They're trying to show the indicators of youth and fertility. So both men and women do deal with this, but women deal with it that much more because obviously, as we've said before, women are essentially born with their value. You cannot get by with nearly as much being a good-looking man as a good-looking woman can have. The carpet will roll out. Basically, dudes willing to spend all resources essentially on a woman who is youthful and she's beautiful. You're not going to get that as a man. Nobody's going to bend over backwards and spend all resources on you just by being a good-looking guy. So we obviously know that. Now, that being said, one of the realizations that I've had, which I will expand in a later video, is that men expend all energy and all resources to either get women, to retain women, to attract women. They do it all for women. Everything you see here, this hot tub, everything, it is there because people were trying to either get their money up to garner more women or keep women or support women, or they're creating an environment to basically attract women. There's an advantage of having the pool and the hot tub and stuff like that in this neighborhood. People want to move to the neighborhood. It's an attracting feature, and then that is to garner women or to retain women, so on and so forth. Now, a lot of you guys might not be on board with what I'm saying right now, but think about everything that you do. At some point, you're mimicking society. You're mimicking as a kid. It's like, well, why do you want to play baseball? Well, it's because you saw it on TV and you thought that was cool and you wanted to be a baseball player. But at some point, the need to keep playing baseball. Guys keep doing what is successful in the past to garner women. They'll continue to replicate that. So once they see, like, well, okay, I'm playing baseball and now these girls are into me, I need to play more baseball, I need to play basketball, I need to play football. And they do these things to attract women, to garner women. And it also physiques, keeping them in shape. They see that their athletic build helps them attract women. Now the men that they don't take that line because they haven't had success, or it seems to be too hard, and then they might try to just get more money to then garner women with the money. And so they're sort of doing this balancing act of what facets of their game are they going to employ to essentially work within this larger game to attract women, to retain women. And the guys that are on these red pill channels that are saying, oh, I gave up dating and blah, 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 10 years ago, 15 years ago, couldn't be happier. It's like, well, that's BS, because why are you on the red pill video typing a comment below saying all this? Why would you be binge watching red pill content if you're not trying to find a solution to the situation to garner more women and understand women and try to attract more women? It is an undeniable force and an undeniable power within the animal kingdom and humans. And the weird thing that I've come to realize is that this code is replicated across insects, different types of animals, whether it be mammals or reptiles or whatever, and it's replicated in humans. Think about these like dung beetles that have these big horns, these rhinoceros beetles, and it's like, they're squaring off with the other males. Think about elk or rams. They're slamming their horns together as a display of physical competency for the females, to attract the females, to become the alpha. And that's what we do. You're over at Gold's Gym, you're looking jacked, you're mean mugging the other dudes, and you're looking around, and it's like there's 10 guys to every girl at this, trying to put themselves to be the apex predator, to be the alpha, to get yourself in a situation that you can attract women. And yes, there are health benefits to it, and you're going to feel better, and you're going to have that confidence, but you're going to have that confidence to attract women. And that's why oftentimes when you see people in relationships, if they feel like, okay, I've locked this up, I sort of succeeded, they get lazy, they get fat in a relationship. That's why people who are actually out on the prowl oftentimes remain more healthy than those who are in a relationship and have kind of given up chase, so to speak. But you must not do that, because the thing is if you give up in a relationship and you don't continue to become the best version of yourself, you will not retain that woman. They're always going to expect more. You have to be the best version of yourself. You have to commandeer more resources. You have to get more money. You have to do all that, and it all tracks back to women. Otherwise, if they see a better option, or they legally can remove themselves from you, going through a divorce, getting half your assets, they'll go that route versus staying with you. It's a very big issue. But as you realize this, that this is the game that we're playing, and you're doing everything that you do in your life for women. There wouldn't be skyscrapers, there wouldn't be all these highways, there wouldn't be this and that war, there wouldn't be fighter jets, there wouldn't be any of that if it wasn't to attract women, to show our superiority over another group, another tribe, to be the most muscular, to be the most athletic, to have the most success on the playing field, to show off. Everything is getting harder. If you see the dunks at the high school level, these kids they're doing 360s, they're doing windmills, they're doing East Bay dunks in game now in high school. 30 years ago, that would have won the NBA dunk contest. So you have to understand the game is getting harder. It's leveling up. And with the ability to connect to more people through social media, it is only getting that much harder, because even basic women think they belong with the best, most high value, most athletic, best looking, tallest dude. Most of the time their criteria doesn't exist. But what you have to do is you have to put yourself in front of enough women and garner enough female attention, and they sense that these other women are around him, these other women are selecting him, so they therefore want to select you as well. Now, going back to the initial topic, now that we've said that, what would I have done? A lot of times women cannot tell the difference between real equity or sort of leveraged equity, whether that be through car loans, having some kind of mortgage that's on a property versus paying it off, so on and so forth. Now, you could set yourself up in the game for like longer duration and be able to live a life of fuckery, essentially, if you do commandeer these resources and you don't have the debt load that maybe other people have, because they could blow themselves up very early, they could get cars repoed, they could end up getting foreclosed on, so on and so forth. You do have a get out of jail free card called bankruptcy if things go awry, but really when I look back on it, buying property and basically buying into it and almost paying the property off and driving an older car, you know, drive it into the ground, so to speak, which there's nothing wrong with that, guys. There's nothing actually wrong with it. But I can tell you that I saw a lot of guys, and I used to kind of like get kind of pissed off. And in some respects, I was kind of being a player hater because I saw what they were doing. They're renting like a luxury apartment, let's say downtown. They were driving like a leased, or, you know, whatever, like a leased BMW or Audi or whatever. So they had a nice car, they had a bunch of nice clothes, everything was rented. They had no equity in anything. But at the end of the day, they were actually getting quicker to what they were ultimately going for, which is women's attention, being around women, interacting with women, women having success with women. That was the ultimate goal. You'd be like, well, that's not what I'm going for. I just want to have these properties and I just want to live and chill and stuff like that. Yeah, you want to chill and you want to have the time freedom and want to have more women around you. There's just, again, there's no, everything you do, everything we do in this world is for women. Come to realize that. And the more you think about it, the more you're going to realize it as well. So the whole old adage was like, oh, okay, you're going to go to school, you're going to get a good job, and then you're going to get married, you're going to have kids and stuff like that. But they were trying to like lay out this framework that where you're going to follow this path to success and you're going to do that. And then obviously guys that deviated from that, they either blew themselves up essentially financially, ended up having to file for bankruptcy and derailed themselves for the time being, or they became very successful and they became these influencers. Maybe they got on a new social media platform, whether it be, you know, TikTok or Instagram or something like that when it first came out, and they gained a lot of success. Or maybe they got on YouTube, gained a lot of social clout that way, and then that led to other things, other opportunities, and they kind of went their own route. It was more risky, but it could ultimately get them to what they wanted, which was women. You know, so, and a lot of people are going to kind of disagree. Oh no, I don't want that. Why are you watching this video then, if that's not the fact? Because everybody wants to know how you're going to get to that. How do you get to that point more easily? Now, that being said, if I had to go back, and this is the finality of the video, if I had to go back, I actually would not have used so much of my resources to actually buy into stuff that was more equitable. I would have went ahead and I would have just leveraged out and got these idiotic car loans and drive a badass car when I was in my early to mid 20s, instead of, you know, just continuing to ride out a car, you know, and just basically drive that car into the ground. I would not have went that route. And then instead of putting so much money into a fixer-upper, building equity and basically paying the house off, I would have actually just did a situation where I would have rented more downtown location where you could go out, it's a scene to go back to, and then leveraged out, and then also gotten loans on side-by-sides and other ATVs and toys and boats and all that kind of stuff. I would have just done what your general person does, because it would have put me at that point earlier. Now that I've went through all this, I had equity, I had money, all that kind of stuff. I do own a Bentley and an Audi SA, all cash. So I don't have the loans on them. But at the end of the day, I see the reaction that I get from women with that car, and sort of the you know, kind of like the magnetic attraction that sort of like all these little pieces to the puzzle kind of create. Now, that being said, my body and my physique and my look has afforded me a decent amount too, and that's taken hard work, which I build up over time, obviously. But at the end of the day, it's like you're gonna lose a little bit of that. You're gonna lose a point. You go a decade forward, you could lose a point even if you're essentially able to obtain the same exact physique, whether that be from sun damage, kind of hairline deterioration, all that kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, it's like you've got to rely more on your resources, your wit, your knowledge of the world, jester maxing, you have to be funny, you have like a greater awareness of popular culture and just world events. You have a certain amount of wisdom, and you're able to portray that as an asset of your overall game. So that being said, in summary, the thing that I would have done and what I suggest that you guys do in basically your whether it be your early 20s, your mid 20s, it's coveted to sort of commandeer these resources, whether you own them outright or you don't. If you have a boat, if you have a sick ass car, if you have all these things, there's a novelty of it, having it when you're young. There's nothing wrong with having a Bentley when you're 75, or the Corvette, or whatever it may be, whatever, the Lamborghini Huracan, the Lamborghini Aventador. There's nothing wrong with that, having it when it's 75. I think that's super cool and stuff. But it's that much cooler if you own it in your 20s or your 30s or your 40s or whatever. You know what I mean? The younger the better. The younger the better. And our society, don't let anybody tell you that, oh, nobody cares about what car you drive. They do. They do. I've had guys, literally, I've been pumping gas in my car. They've pulled off the road and pulled into the gas station just to talk to me about the Bentley. I've had women stick around longer. I've had them just really become very, very intrigued, and just you become more magnetic. The more kind of like facets you have to your game, the more interesting you are, the more mysterious you are. They can never completely figure you out, kind of thing. Now, that being said, that is what I would do, and I think that that would be more advantageous in the short term for someone in their 20s to have success and get closer to being around a more high value female. Because again, the game is only getting harder. Everybody's game is elevating to an extreme level. Now, that being said, I'm going to have more video topics, so please like this video and please subscribe for more content. See you guys later.